Good morning. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's kick-ass coach and psychologist, here with some words for this fine Friday, the beginning of Labor Day weekend. I hope you have some things planned. I do not. I have to get some things planned. Not sure what I'm up for this weekend. We'll see. But this card, as soon as when I picked the deck, I was recalling the card we had the last time we had this deck. Good morning to whomever has popped on. Can't see your name, but I'm glad you're here. And then as I opened the deck to shuffle, the card on the top was actually the card that we had the previous time, which doesn't surprise me because I put it there. But I wondered if it would come up again. Good morning, Holly. Well, thank you. Brand new shirt. Got to do something new once in a while. Well, new to me anyway. So then when I shuffled the deck, and I shuffled pretty thoroughly, knocked the cards to get the energy out of them, picked our card, it's the same card. And you know from what I've said in the past that when the same message comes up over and over, we need to perk up our ears a little bit and pay extra attention to that message. And I think this is a very useful message going into a holiday weekend. Good morning, Joe. Welcome, welcome. And as I said, I have nothing planned. So that's an opportunity to me, clear up some loose ends, spend some time in contemplation, go for some lovely walks, just be, etc. So that's part of my plan at this point. But I want to see what you all think of this card coming up again. What is it we're meant to be learning from this card that maybe we haven't quite grasped yet, or we have it on one level but not on another? So let's see what y'all think. So our card comes from one of my favorite decks ever. The Nature Portals deck was actually one of my first decks also. Inspiration through the peace and beauty of nature. I'm sure many of you will have the opportunity over the weekend to spend some time in nature, or you can choose the opportunity to spend some time in nature. That would be a good thing. That would be a really good thing. I think it's going to be a little bit cooler than it has been, and that will make it lovely in terms of being out. I have a new goal. My new goal, regrouping after coming back from Madison. Good morning, Beth. Glad you are here, and glad to whomever else is on there that your name isn't popping up. Glad you're here also. Got a lot of glad going on today. Where was I? I don't even know. Derailed the train of thought. Anywho, let's see what you think of this card and how it's applicable to life right now. All right? So here's our card. That beautiful web. And one of the things it reminds me of is there was a day, must have been last fall, I'm thinking, when I was out wandering with TJ in the woods behind the motel before I moved, and the whole area was covered with these beautiful webs, and the sun was just coming up, so it was catching the dew off of the webs. And I tried taking some pictures, and some of them turned out pretty cool. Maybe I'll see if I can find some and put them on here, but they were pretty awesome. So here's our web. A couple of nice deep breaths. Maybe we can kind of unify our breathing here, which will help with the receiving of this message. Realize your place in the web of life. Realize your place in the web of life. Like the strands in a spider web, all things in nature are connected. Every animal and every plant relies on other plants and animals to survive. The web of life isn't a chain, and it's not quite a circle. It's a complex interconnection with all life. All right? And many authors have tried to get that point across to us, that it's all connected. And that idea that when a butterfly flaps its wings in one place, a hurricane is set off somewhere else. It's all connected. It's all connected. Practice feeling your connection to the web of life. So we're going to do this right now. Wherever you're sitting or laying down, whatever you're doing, imagine sending out a string from your center. I'm going to say your heart center. We need a whole lot more love in this world, right? So string from your heart center and fly it out to something that you can see in your world. So if you're sitting at your desk at work, it may be a coworker, it may be your lunch, maybe your coffee cup, your computer. Just send out that string. And if you're at home, send it out to something you can see. Like right now, you can see my glass of water. So I'll just send mine to that glass of water. Ask yourself, how am I connected to this? Good morning, Joyce. Glad you are here. Good morning, Diane. Glad you are here. So let's just play this little game together and see what it does for us. All right? So you're sending a string out from your heart center to something in your environment. Could be human, could be animal, could be inanimate, whatever, something. How am I connected to this? Just come up with your answer. Like for me with the water, I'm made of water. There's a lot of water in me. And when I add more water to me, energy is neither created nor destroyed. It simply moves into, through, and out of form. And then it's still available for other uses, right? Right? Notice any thoughts or ideas that arise when you think about that question of how am I connected to this? Pick some simple things. Maybe you can see, good morning, Andreas, glad you are here. Maybe you can see plant life, connecting to plant life, how that sustains you, cleans your air, fills you, etc., etc. But just spend some time doing this right now. A pencil, maybe a pencil. How are you connected to a pencil? I mean, you may go back to when that pencil was actually a tree, right? And the idea that that tree no longer exists in that form because it was turned into pencils. How do you feel about that? I really think we'd be a whole lot happier if more of us planted many, many trees. But spend some time, even the most obscure thing, okay? Let's say you're driving past an abandoned building on your way to work. How are you connected to that? Does that move you to think about what else could be done with that space? Rather than something sitting there empty, what could be done with it? Hopefully what you find as you do this is it stirs up a lot of thought. Yesterday my brain got rolling on some ideas and it just kept going and going and going. Good morning, Mel. Glad you are here. Here is our card. We are back to realize your place in the web of life. Continue connecting your string to other aspects of nature. And I'm going to say to other aspects of life, because when we appreciate how the things we've created, let's say a plastic water bottle, when we appreciate how we are connected to that, that can be very helpful in terms of us being better stewards to our world. So I was watching a TEDx talk from Boy and Slat the other day. Good morning, Pat. Welcome, welcome. And was touched by how invested this young man is in cleaning up the Great Pacific Garbage Patch in the ocean. He's wise, he's invested, he's motivated, he's innovative. If you want a boost to your desire to do whatever is your work to do in this world and to assist him in doing his work, watch that little TEDx video. It's Boy and Slat, BOYANSLAT. And he's so sincere and so earnest about his efforts to clean up the ocean. And interestingly, what I love about what he does is, how many naysayers do you think he ran into as he was talking about, I'm going to clean up the ocean's garbage patch, right? There was actually someone who estimated how many billion years, I believe it was billion years, it would take to do just that. He's like, thanks, but I'm not listening to you, invented the machinery that is going to clean it up within 5 years. 5 years. And addresses things like animals not getting caught in his equipment as he's cleaning up the mess, and the microparticles of plastic that need to be dealt with also, because the stuff does break down into all these little chunks of plastic that end up in the fish we eat, that end up in us, etc., etc. Good morning, Carolyn. But watching his TEDx talk is one of those things that will give you hope for the future. All right? So if you have a chance, check out Boy and Slat's TED Talk. So now here's the quote from Ted Perry, often misattributed to Chief Seattle. I don't care who said it, it is brilliant. Whatever befalls the earth befalls the children of the earth. We did not weave the web of life, we are merely a strand in it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. Pretty powerful, right? You know, that idea of it's only one plastic bottle, said 8 billion people. All right? The more we pay attention to this stuff, the more we realize that we are a part of. And again, going back to what I learned, one of the things I learned at the Intentional Communities Conference, the co-housing conference in Madison, is that one of the greatest complaints that human beings have right now is loneliness. And that loneliness being lethal for some people. So realizing your place in the web of life can be one of those things that helps you feel less lonely. Can also be one of the things that puts you in the position of being willing to reach out, to connect. I actually had a dream last night that I was in an intentional community, and there were little kids who had to read books, and some kids showed up because grandma lived in the intentional community where I was, and they were reading together, and it gave me the idea, why don't we have a bunch of the kids come over from school after school's done, and we all can read with the kids. It was kind of a cool thing. So we'll see if that manifests as I'm building this intentional community idea. So realize your place in the web of life. Realize your place in the web of life. I'd like you to think about, how are you going to do that today? You could play the little string game that we just did, where you go and you attach your string to various things in your world and decide, how am I related to this? And maybe let's add a second question. And how can I be a better steward of this? All right? How can I be a better steward of this? One of the things I just read in the local newspaper is they're trying to change zoning laws so that if people want to plant vegetable gardens in the boulevards, they can. How cool is that? So let's make use of it. Grass is not a very useful substance. It's a very wasteful substance. So the more of it we can chew up with gardens, the happier I am, happier the bees are, happier we are when things are ready to harvest. So, all right, have an awesome day. Get your weekend off to a good start. Think about, what would you like this weekend to be like? What's important to you? And then go out and make it happen. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.